Luke chapter 8 verse 17. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. Shalom. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Chakudash. Acknowledgement to the elders of GMS who I learned from, the true leaders of Israel. Peace to the elect, 144,001/3. I'm a Hebrew Israelite, servant of Yahushai, preaching the whole holy truth, GMS doctrine. And I want to do a lesson on what you see here right now. I'm going to just read the title. 215 bodies found buried behind Jackson, Mississippi jail. And there's some news coming out on this unmarked gravesite, this unmarked cemetery that was found right next to jail. And the scripture I started off with, let me quote it: for there's nothing secret that shall not be made manifest. And so you got and this is just but another gravesite, unmarked gravesite that was found. This is not the first one. This is there's many like these. But you got they're doing an investigation on it. People are wanting justice. Families whose loved ones were found in those grave sites. And of course you got no one to pay up. There's nobody who's guilty. It's just all smoke and mirrors. And let me get to this video to expand this chick is gonna expand further on it. This is what the brother Rari La Yasharala shared.
Over 200 bodies were just found buried behind a Mississippi jail, and they were not inmates. Relatives of those found buried behind this jail just thought they were simply missing. They're calling this a pauper cemetery, which means a poor man's cemetery who can't afford an actual burial, but that's not what this was. For example, one of these people was hit by a police car, and the police covered it up by burying them in this area. They claim to not be able to identify the body, but when they exhumed these bodies, they found this person to have his ID in his front pocket. Families of missing persons are showing up with pictures of their missing relatives, just waiting for the bodies to be exhumed to see if they're one of these people, and they end up being there. Mary Moore Glenn found her son Mario. Gretchen Hawkins found her son Jonathan. Bettersim Wade found her son Dexter. They were all buried behind the jail. How did these people go from just living their regular lives to being missing and suddenly buried behind a jail by the police? Oh, I'm sorry, the inmates dug the graves. Saying every few months inmates dug new graves to add new bodies to. The police were just bringing them to the jail. Where did these people come from? Why did they die and how? And shocker, no one knows who to blame. Saying that this happened before the current chief of the police department was in his position. But the current chief says, we'll make sure this doesn't happen again. What do you mean? This is making articles, but why isn't this on television? National news. These people had families who were looking for them and they were just dumped in the dirt. What the fuck is going on in Jackson, Mississippi? Say and share this everywhere.
So you got families recovering their sons' bodies, loved ones' bodies in those grave sites. And if you heard the chick, you heard that one of the dudes that they recovered, he still had his ID, his credentials in his pockets, So that goes to show that whatever happened was it was unjust. He got deleted by the popo, and they just buried his ass up with his ID and everything. Not a proper burial, not even, and no one to blame for. And let me just and yeah, you don't. They're gonna try to cover this up. They're gonna try to sweep it under the rug. But hey, we see the devil at work, man. You know. Let me just play this next last part.
I'm saying this is a simple mistake, but you can't write this off as a mistake. You can't just hit innocent people with police cars and then bury them in an unmarked grave. This is where police buried Dexter Wade. Oh yeah, prisoners dug the grave. They made the prisoners dig the grave and then bury this innocent man that was just hit on the street. His mom had been searching for him for months and put out a missing persons report and was constantly going down to check if there were any updates. They knew exactly where he was. He had his ID in his pocket along with medication with his name on it. Now his mom is asking for a federal investigation, as they should, because they're finding many people buried in unmarked graves behind this jail who were missing. This was not a simple mistake by the police department. They're just out there murdering people and then putting them in the dirt. And get this, police are telling the missing people's family members that they need to pay to get the bodies exhumed from these dirt graves that they just murdered people and threw them in. Paying the police department is the only way to get these bodies out of there? Are you kidding me? Now, Dexter was killed by the police back in March, and a new police chief came in August. James E. Davis was actually the police chief that all of this happened under. He claims not to know anything, but these were his officers that were out here killing people and burying them behind the jail. It's your job to know. Taxpayers were paying him $95 to $120K per year, and those same taxpayers were winding up missing and found in the dirt under his watch by his own people. Yeah, I think the FBI should be involved. Follow for more tea.
So you got that other part where the dude Dexter Wade, that Jake, he what you seen like months before reports of him going missing or something, but now you see he recovered in an unmarked gravesite, and the family's gotta pay. They gotta pay them. They gotta pay those people money to they gotta pay the money to recover the bodies. So yeah, this place is through, man. There's no justice. And what I thought about that too, this whole situation is, as I said, this is but one situation. Just imagine all the other situations, and imagine all the other unmarked grave sites, because these Edomites, so-called white people, they have a history of grape rob and murder, and they deleted millions of Israelites in America, and they built businesses, they built schools, they built houses, cities over cemeteries full of Israelites that were slain by them. So and that's beautiful, because now I just thought of let me get this scripture. This wasn't a part of the act. Let me what was Salakia. I'm trying to think of it. It's losing me now. Let me because these Edomites, so-called white people, they've been our wicked brother, Esau, our wicked brother. They've been our wicked brother from the time of the beginning. But let me because the story of I'm getting to this, but Let me just she big and she again bird. Let me get to my point, Salakia. But this is the story of Cain and Abel. I'm not gonna read the whole story, but pretty much Cain and Abel, uh, they were brothers. Brothers should know this already. They were brothers, and they were sacrificing to the Lord. And Cain was jealous of Abel. He was and he slain him. He murdered his brother, which in spirit is it's Jacob and Esau. It's us and Esau. But let me get to Genesis 4, verse 8. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. Verse 9. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I thy brother's keeper? Verse 10. And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. Exactly. You've seen this whole Dexter Wade. Hey man, it's Israelites. Hey, their blood is crying from the ground, man. Because these devils, for centuries they've slain the Israelites, and it's you see stuff like this just coming out, but those are 215 bodies. So and hey, nothing hid that shall not be revealed, that shall not be made manifest. You see this, but Salaki, if that took a while, I wasn't expecting to think of that scripture because I got this all saved. But let me get to this scripture that I was gonna get. Isaiah chapter 59, verse 14. And judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter. Exactly. There's no justice. And it's with every situation that goes down with Jake and these damn cops and the popo. The Roman officer, the modern day Roman officer, he shoots, shoots your son, and now Jake mom is all crying and shit, wanting justice. She's all going to a fucking board meeting, yelling at fucking chief of police, wanting justice and shit. Justice for my son. There's no justice, man. Stop. You gotta stop crying to Esau, your oppressors, man. Cry to the Lord, to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. That's who we gotta cry to. But as I said, this is not just the only situation that popped up. You got many other situations. You got many other situations where there's unmarked gravesites, cemeteries that were recovered, and you got let me just get to it because these are liked videos. I saved these. Let me see.
Not just here on the property.
So this is from Tampa Bay News. But let me just read this title. It says, archaeologists confirm at least 328 graves from Black Cemetery on Clearwater business property. So they just found a Black cemetery on a business property. Let me show you the video.
Tonight, a news alert out of Pinellas County. Just hours ago, leaders confirmed hundreds of graves from a destroyed African-American cemetery lie below this Clearwater business.
10 Investigates Emerald Morrow has been tracking this process for nearly 3 years and was the first to break the story tonight. Emerald, at first, they estimated there were dozens of graves. Now they're talking more than 3 times that.
For years, archaeologists, they have been trying to figure out exactly how many graves are here on the property at Frank Crum, and they are closer than ever now to having those answers. And they confirmed to us today that there are at least 328 graves, not just here on the property, but also extending out to Missouri Avenue. The community knew this was coming, but had no idea what to expect.
They were buried wherever their loved ones could find a place to bury them.
So, you see it. Exactly what I was just talking about. They slain Jake, and they build cities over them, over their graves, over the dead bodies. You know? And the righteous blood is gonna cry up. You know? Like the Lord said, your brother's blood crieth unto me. Them Israelites, they're crying from the grave, you know, because of the injustice, you know, being ran over by these Edomites, being ran over, being deleted by them, and then being not even a proper burial, being put in the dirt, really. You know, they're crying unto God, man. They're crying unto Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. And the Lord's doing something about it, because you see the prophets out here, man. And 328 graves. And you know those are nothing but 328 Jake. You know? And this is just but one. You know, there's another one too. Well, I think this is the same one, but
St. Pete moves forward with redeveloping Tropicana Field. Crews there are first looking into the past, and that includes the possibility now of a lost African-American cemetery in one of the many parking lots there on site. Let's go on to Fox 13's Dan Maddox, who's live at the Trop, where archaeologists are looking into whether or not graves may have been left where a cemetery was supposed to be moved decades ago. Do they know anything yet, Dan?
Well, we're hearing about so many of these different locations where they're searching for these cemeteries, and the city of St. Pete says this is the first step into redeveloping the site.
Today it is VIP Lot 1.
So let me get that.
The first step
Slovakia.
into redeveloping the site.
So they built a parking lot over a Jake cemetery. You know? But if it's a Edomite cemetery, you know, majority of Edomite, you know, cemetery, they wouldn't be building no businesses over it, no cities over it. And let me see. Let me get my script. Let me get a scripture on it. Yeah, let me get this one. Let me just read this one too. Revelation 6 verse 10. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? But that's the thing, Lord will avenge, you know? Right now it doesn't feel like it. It feels like, you know, we're just going through hell. But hey, eventually Lord will, man. Especially when he sends his son Yahushai down to put this place to rest, man. But how, you know, that's what we gotta say, man. Like, how long, oh Lord? How long? You know, how long do we have to endure this? Seeing Israelites get treated unjustly on every level. But let me get to It's like it. Let me get to. Now let me just show you more. Let me show you more. You got this
Up to 90% off on Tana now.
let me see you see the title. You see the title, it says The Lost Neighborhood under New York Central Park. Now I'm not gonna show you the video because it's too long. I'm not gonna show you it, but you got, it's another black cemetery grave site that they built a whole park over it. Seneca Village, black cemetery. That's now Central Park. That's now New York Central Park. So these people are walking over Israelite graves, Israelite tombs. So yeah, this place is through, man. And let me get this scripture. Psalms 9. So I'm going to start at verse 5. Psalms chapter 9, verse 5. Thou hast rebuked the heathen, thou hast destroyed the wicked, thou hast put out their name forever and ever. That's what the Lord will do. Verse 6. O thou enemy, destructions are come to a perpetual end, and thou hast destroyed their memorial. Salakia. Let me read that again. This is my point. Verse 6. Psalms chapter 9, verse 6. O thou enemy, destructions are come to a perpetual end, and thou hast destroyed cities, their memorial is perished with them. Verse 7. But the Lord Yahweh shall endure forever. He hath prepared his throne for judgment. Verse 8. And he shall judge the world in righteousness. He shall minister judgment to the people in uprightness. Verse 9. The Lord also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. In times of trouble. But that point I want to get, how they destroyed cities and the memorials perished with them. But we're remembering, these grave sites, they're being brought out. The truth is coming out. And Lord is these devils are gonna have to give account for it, man. But the scripture I want to get before that was Job chapter 21, verse 29. Starting at verse 29. Have ye not asked them that go by the way, and do ye not know their tokens, that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction? They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Exactly. These devils who done all this, committed all this violence in the earth, it's gonna come right back to their ass. But let me get some more. Now, something I also let me bring this up too. Right here was you got this Jake who's showing you see the imprint of the villages that are destroyed. Let me just play the video. Let me play the video.
Right here was the African American village that was destroyed in order to build Central Park. So before Central Park was known as Central Park, it was the location of Seneca Village, a neighborhood full of prosperous Black Americans. At its peak in about 1855, the neighborhood had over 50 homes, a burial ground, a school for Black kids, and 3 churches, like this one, All Angels Church, which you can see the outline of right here. However, in 1857, the city government used a law known as eminent domain to forcibly remove all of the residents of Seneca Village. To gain public support, they even had a smear campaign where they referred to the people who lived here as tramps, squatters, and thieves. Afterwards, about 300 citizens who used to live in Seneca Village were displaced, and because the law at the time required black men to own land in order to vote, it was also a form of voter suppression. Sadly, stories like this existed all throughout the United States, like Bruce's Beach in California and the Eastwick neighborhood of Philadelphia.
Wow, what do you think should be done with this area of Central Park today? Stay curious, my friends.
So yeah, that too. You know, black villages being destroyed unjustly, and they build parks over it. Black property being destroyed, and these devils are gonna have to give account, man. Because this is absolutely wicked. Hey, where was the love back then? You know, because we say how these people are going into slavery, and they get emotional about it. They're like, why? Well, where was the love back then? And another thing that I wanted to get to is you have something called this is among Gad, among the tribe of Gad, so-called Native Americans, Native Indians. And the schools that Gad goes to, they go to residential schools, which are pretty much Catholic schools that are run by priests and nuns. Those schools where those Gadites, they get whipped with sticks by those nuns and shit. They get drowned in bath water in order to learn, in those schools. Well, guess what? You got all types of grave sites, unmarked grave sites that Ben came out of, how there's hundreds of graves that been recovered, hundreds of bodies that's been recovered by those next to those residential schools. You see right here, I'm not gonna play the video, but it says, residential school survivors share a story after 751 unmarked graves found. Think of that, 751. And that's nothing but Gad. That's nothing but natives. Who were in those boarding schools, and who were getting deleted by those nuns, by those Catholic priests. And this just goes to show how what the scriptures say, Judah and Ephraim were oppressed together, because we're all the same people, and these devils know this. Scriptures say that they're more wiser than Daniel, because these devils know we're the children of Israel. And you got Gad that's been oppressed too. Imagine that. 750 damn graves found. And this is just but one. Like I said, this is just but one. Maybe I could play the intro a little bit.
So the remains of more than 1,000 children have been found in Canada in these unmarked graves at the sites of some of these residential schools. Keep in mind, the United States also had these so-called residential schools or boarding schools for natives. And the Native Americans I've been talking to say they've been trying to get this out for years, because they say they believe, again, this is their belief, that the reason bodies have not been found in the United States is simply because this nation is not looking for them.
That practice started here.
So yeah, and you just heard what she said. 1,000 child bodies recovered, and this was 2 years ago. So you got all types of situations like this popping up, and for all these Christians like Vocab Malone, who are trying to get on the Israelites, who are trying to put a smear campaign against the Israelites. Well, look what you do. You build cities over so-called black grave sites and over so-called Native American grave sites, man. This is what you did. These Christians and these Catholics, because you got these devils, these Spaniards. They attacked the Northern Kingdom. You got these Christians, the Christian settlers. Salakia, I'm losing my train of thought, but like in these boarding schools, you got your nuns, your Catholic priests who from the time when Jake were children, they beat that Catholicism into them. That's why we ain't supposed to be a part of any of these religions. We're supposed to be Hebrew Israelites, which is not a religion. It's our inheritance. You know? For any of you, Jake, that are still Catholics and Christians, you're through. Because all of this is bred for you. The reason you got this truth was from you being, your forefathers being bred and force fed these religions and being beaten into these religions, man. But yeah, this is but just another situation. This is just but another one. And this one too, memorials set up in recognition of 215 bodies of indigenous children found. And it's funny, 215, the newest case was 215 bodies, and this one too is 215 bodies. I thought that was interesting. But you got all types of situations like this. So these devils got to give account for all the wickedness that they done, man. Completely slaying Jake by the masses, man. And burying them. Building cities over them. And something that I saved too. Let me get to this. I saved something. No, yeah, let me get this. I took a picture of this. It says, of the 139 recognized residential schools, 59 cemeteries were identified by the commission, and 55 individual reports detailing information about the history of each cemetery were created. The effort to fully document the children that never returned home from the schools remains ongoing. So, no justice, and just think about it. If it happened to these Edomites, these so-called white people, if you had them get deleted by the masses and get treated like this, and their grave sites, having unmarked grave sites and having cities built over them, well, they would have been brought that out. They would have been if the tables were turned, if the roles were reversed, these Edomites would be on it. But since it's Jake, they're trying to sweep it under the rug. But no, you can't. The truth is coming out. But yeah, 59 cemeteries with hundreds of Jakes deleted, buried, and more to be recovered. Let me get Psalms chapter 37, starting at verse 10 in the KJV. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. Verse 11. But the meek shall inherit the earth and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. Exactly. Eventually, we're going to get our kingdom, our world, which is ours. We're the rightful owners of the earth. This is our world. In due time. But there's another thing I want to bring out. I seen this comment, and it says, in Australia, they have National Sorry Day to apologize to the Aborigines for the atrocities they've suffered, which included forced removal and assimilation. So, they in Australia they have something called a Sorry Day, which I need to do more research on that. But they have something called a Sorry Day, where they say sorry to the people that they oppress, that they committed atrocities against, and they have a day to recognize that. And then, so read down more. Makes me wonder why Canada and the United States don't have their own National Sorry Day for the Native Americans, Indigenous Canadians. So, exactly, these devils committed all this types, and it's so blatant that these people are the devil, that you got Jake, even though it ain't gonna do shit really. We gotta win. We gotta be fighting in the spirit. But you got Jake, all types of Jake, who are pulling down statues of Edomites, Edomite conquistadors, Edomite conquerors. You got Jake pulling down all those statues, which is, it's really showing the end of this man's kingdom, of this Edomite supremacy, this Esau's kingdom, this Edomite supremacy kingdom. But yeah, it takes Jake to be pulling down statues for Esau to be concerned about this, to give mind to this. So it just shows these devils don't give a shit about you, Jake. These people don't give a shit about you. That's why you see Jake still in the ghetto. Completely through. Let me get what's my next scripture? Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So we gotta wait until the Lord rises up, man. This is we gotta preach. We just gotta preach the truth, man. That's all. Just like how I'm doing right now. Just like how you brothers are doing. Preach the truth and reveal the devil, man. Make Esau bear it. Like, you see this whole situation. We gotta report on this. Psalms chapter 104 verse 35. Let the sinners be consumed out of the earth, and let the wicked be no more. Bless thou the Lord Yahweh, O my soul. Praise ye the Lord Yahweh. All praise to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Chakodash. Shalom.